This is Matt from Trail Rider Camp, and I'm coming to you today from East Brady, Pennsylvania, at one of the kind of northern-ish trailheads of the Armstrong Trail. So about a year ago, one of the first videos that I did for this channel, I had gone to kind of like one of the southern trailheads of the Armstrong Trail, a place called the Roston Boat Launch, and I had biked about 10-12 miles south to Shenley, showed you that kind of new section of the Armstrong Trail, and then went back up to my car. Today I'm going to be doing kind of the more northern stretch of the trail. I'm going to start here at East Brady. One of the big developments on the trail of late is that they very recently opened the Brady Tunnel. So I'm going to go through that new tunnel. That then unlocks kind of a few new miles to the north. And then I'm going to turn around, go back through the tunnel, head south to the town of Templeton, and then turn around and come back here. So it should be somewhere in like the 35-40 mile range for the day. Two things that are really nice about the Armstrong Trail in general. One, they're always seem to be adding new trail. Like you can tell that they're constantly working hard. There's a really great core group of volunteers. And so, since I did that southern stretch last year, they actually have added a few more miles as well down into the town of Leechburg to the south. So always adding trail, which is great. You can't say that about most trails. The other thing that's really awesome about this trail as well is that it just it hugs the Allegheny River. You got a lot of awesome river views. You have a lot of preserved kind of railroad history here at this northern stretch. So in the first few miles, I'll show you, we're going to go past like a roundhouse, an old coaling station, obviously the tunnel itself. So a lot of really neat stuff to see in this stretch today. And I figure maybe at some point, I'll go out and I'll do kind of the middle section then, which again kind of starts at Roston, goes up beyond Katanning to Templeton, though that's a little bit more town riding, and frankly the trail there a little less decently maintained in my opinion. So again, one thing that's really nice is that you can kind of do this trail in three nice sections of like 30-40 miles each. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and get the car loaded up. Again, you see this is a huge gravel parking lot here, easy to find in Google Maps. It says Armstrong Trail, and then as you kind of come into East Brady itself, there's signs that say Armstrong Trail, Armstrong Trail, Armstrong Trail. And then when you get going here, you're going to actually head on down this road behind me. It's going to bring you past some cars, and then it's going to turn into a trail eventually. So just know that you get here and there's like a little park behind you, and you might think, oh well, that's the trail. That's not the trail. You're going to actually go straight down this road past some houses, and that's going to bring you to the trail. So I'm going to go ahead, get loaded up, and get going here. So this is that road that you come down from the parking lot. It's a little private road with beautiful homes built right on the Allegheny River. And then you get down to the end of it, Armstrong Trail, go down here, and the formal trail begins. Nice little waterfall coming off the hillside, not even a mile in. And this is kind of the flavor of the trail. So you got nice crushed limestone, medium width. And then you got views of the Allegheny River. So this is what you get a lot of on these upper stretches of the trail. So it's about 7:15, sun coming up, looking down the Allegheny River. Beautiful. So just past where I was taping, you kind of meander through a little looks like a little private campground on the river there. A little bit confusing, but not hard. There is some attempt at signage. And then you come up here. So like I said, we're heading toward Templeton today. And railroad heritage area of the Armstrong Trail. Porta John, little parking lot. The old Phillipston turnstile. So again, pretty cool that they've preserved this. Some cover picnic tables. Waterfall number 2. Now, I can't attest to if these flow all the time. We've had an extremely wet spring summer here, but it's flowing today. So there's the Brady Tunnel, which was supposedly open, but there's a truck parked in the opening and people doing work in there, so I have no idea what the heck's going on. So I think I'm going to ride to Templeton first and then turn around, and hopefully these guys are cleared up and done with what they're doing by the time I'm back. And here comes the old coaling station. So probably every picture you ever see of the Armstrong Trails shows this. It's impressive, and it's cool how the trail just goes right underneath. Just past the coaling station, you have the split to the Red Bank Valley Trail. And I've never done that entire trail yet, but I have probably done the lower 15 miles or so of it, and it's absolutely beautiful. So just know that, again, to access it, you have to basically park at one of the 2 parking lots I showed you and bike up to this point. Kind of hard to see over this high barrier, but you do go right over top of the Red Bank Creek there. So to me, it doesn't look like a creek at this point, but it does get narrower. One of the many locks and dams on the Allegheny River. This is lock number 9. A lot of debris on the trail through this stretch, probably around mile 7 or so. And so it's a little concerning. I told you last ride, or last big ride I did, I had some mechanical problems. I had a flat that I patched up, and then I had the broken front spoke. So I got that all squared away and fixed, but I'm still a little wary, especially on the back tire. And then obviously ahead here I got a tree down. So I gotta pick my way through this and keep on keeping on. Very small parking lot here. So this is the 4th parking lot that I've passed. Enough for maybe 3 cars to pull in. You got the porta-john and then some more beautiful homes and cottages along the river. I would say one of my favorite parts of this stretch of the trail is just looking at some of the houses. I mean, there are just so many of them are really quaint, and they're perched right there. Huge flock of, I think, are turkey vultures hanging out up there, and also on this roof of this cottage over here. I mean, there's a ton of them. I've seen a few turkey on the trail, some deer on the trail. So wildlife has been higher than average. And again, kind of the beauty of the river, mountains behind. So we're about 12 miles in and kind of inching closer to Templeton, and another waterfall back in the woods. So it's waterfall number 3, and a little historical sign saying that this was the site of a village called Gray's Eddy. So a lot of these kind of neat historical things along the trail. Okay, well, I was coming up here to this bridge over the Mahoning Creek, which is right before Templeton, and all of a sudden trail closed, and there's a fence, and there's no detour or anything. And I literally checked Armstrong Trail Facebook page this morning and went back through a bunch of older posts, and there was nothing mentioned about this, nothing on their website. So I'm sitting here right now kind of saying a big what the heck. I mean, they're usually so active on social media, and then all of a sudden something major like this, they're silent. So a little peeved about this. I mean, it's not much. Like I said, this is maybe cutting out a half mile at most each way, maybe a mile total, but again, what the heck. So anyway, I guess I'm gonna turn back around and hopefully I can get into the tunnel. But again, that wasn't looking promising either based on what I saw there. Yeah, so I went up right up to the barrier, and it says Mahoning Bridge Rehabilitation, Pennsylvania Department of Conservation, and there's no active work being done whatsoever. And you got this fence where it looks like somebody's pulled it back to get through. I mean, again, this is a major part of the Erie to Pittsburgh Trail, and there's been nothing posted about it. So like, I can totally see somebody on a long distance trip coming here and just being bewildered. And it's not like this is an area that has great cell phone reception either. So this is a major fail, in my opinion, on the shoulders of people at the trail. Like, you have something like this, you need to have a posted detour, you need to have information out there, especially for long distance riders. For me, it's a minor inconvenience. For a long distance rider, this is something that really scuttles your trip. All right, I'm back at the Brady Tunnel, and the truck is gone, which is a good sign, and the door is open, so I believe I can get through. Now, the only problem is I literally had my headlamp out on my counter at home, and I forgot to bring it with me. So I'm going to turn on my flashlight on my phone here and hopefully get enough illumination. But this is a long tunnel. This is like a 2,000-foot tunnel, so you do need a light for sure. So let's try this out. Well, that stinks. So this one's on me, but I definitely could not go through that tunnel with this rinky-dinky little cell phone flashlight. You need a powerful light to go through that. So unfortunately, the reality of today's ride is that this is going to be a short one. Again, for that tunnel being 2,000 feet long, or more than 2,000 feet long, I mean, it was pitch black. I could not see whatsoever. And I just wasn't willing to risk it. There's puddles everywhere from dripping water, and yeah, as much as I would love to get in, those miles, some risks just aren't worth it. And like I said, this was me dropping the ball for sure. So I'm gonna head on back to my car and call it quits for the day. I'm assuming I'll be right around probably 25 miles biked, and that's it. But at least you could see here down to the bridge, and you can see that the tunnel is open. And like I said, this is a super scenic part of the Armstrong Trail. Like, I'd give the scenery a 10 out of 10 for sure. The entire time, even though you got this vegetation, the entire time you can still see the river, and there's some absolutely epic views. So I'm gonna get back, throw the bike in the car, drive home, and do my usual wrap up of this section once I get there. All right, I'm home now, and as I usually do, I just wanted to kind of follow up the ride with some closing remarks about that section of the Armstrong Trail. Again, compared to some of my reviews, this one's a little bit imperfect because I'm reviewing, in essence, a section of a trail, not the entire trail. But it is what it is, and if you're like me and oftentimes doing out and back rides, you probably don't have the ability to do the entire length of this trail. So as I remarked, scenery on this one, 10 out of 10. The northern stretch of the Armstrong Trail is beautiful. The mountains, the river, I mean, it is the entire way stuff to look at. Surface rideability, I gave it a 6 out of 10. I would have given this probably a 7 because it's fairly hard packed surface, and I had no problem pedaling. but there was just so much debris on the trail almost the entire way. I was dodging branches and big rocks almost the entire time. Safety, gave it a 5 out of 5. I'd bring anybody on this. You have like one road crossing, and it's about as, you know, quiet of a back road, you know, to some, you know, cabins that probably don't even have people living in them full time. So totally safe. Parking, I gave it a 4 out of 5. Like I said, there was 4 lots that I saw. I think I saw 4 lots. A few of them are small, but that first one in East Brady is huge. So lots and lots of parking available. Food and drink, 0 out of 5. There's no real options whatsoever. I'm sure there's something in East Brady itself, but I did not go past a single food or drink establishment. Facilities, I gave it a 3 out of 5. Pretty standard. You know, stuff that it was missing, of course, is no water fill-ups, no repair stations or air pumps, but you got a lot of benches, a lot of picnic tables, and a number of porta-johns. Wildlife, I gave it a 4 out of 5. Like I said, I saw a lot of cool birds. I showed you the huge flock of turkey vultures, some deer, some turkeys on the trail, so definitely stuff to look at there. And then from a fun factor, this was kind of a little bit hard for me to gauge, because overall I feel like this is a super fun trail, but obviously my experiences today were kind of dampened by that abrupt closure and complete and total lack of communication and lack of detour, and then the fact that I dropped the ball and forgot my headlamp. So I feel like, you know, if you're somebody that's looking to go out and do like a 30-mile ride, and, you know, you want to have a fun ride, or you know, really get somebody that maybe doesn't bike regularly kind of involved and show them some stuff, this got that. It got the history, it got the well-preserved railroad stuff, it got the tunnel. Everybody loves tunnels. You got the river. So definitely a lot of fun factor for sure.